Yeah, this is Jefferson Carter. I live in Tucson, Arizona, and I'm going to read a poem called Life Partner, which is from my most recent book, Birkenstock Blues. Life Partner. For convenience, I and my life partner, the woman formerly known as my wife, have numbered our arguments. Number 3, you're so negative. Number 8, you're naive. Number 11, another beer already. Number 13, you don't listen to me. But I do. I just don't agree. Now, my life partner's on the couch watching live PD. She's pleased with the police. So kind to the miscreants and trailer trash they apprehend. Of course, they're kind. They're on camera. Without looking at me, she holds up 3 fingers. My life partner wants to make a deal. She'll stop storing our broken pepper mill upright in the spice rack. Pepper everywhere, like coarse soot. She'll store the mill on its side if I stop switching off the light over the dining room table whenever she's in another room. Why? Why does she need that light on all day? She raises both fists and opens each one twice. Number 20. You don't love me. Just about anything, really. Usually I start with something that happened, so I guess you could call the poems autobiographical, but I'm always open to anything in the poem that wants me to go somewhere else. So I do make up a lot of things. I use the I pronoun because it's more comfortable, but many times it doesn't mean me. Jefferson is just someone I create. Well, I think it's obvious. That's one of the problems in my poetry is it's not very sophisticated. You can get it the first time, but it's about how long-term relationships evolve, where you have the same arguments over and over and over again, so you might as well number them. So it's kind of a joke. Many of my poems are based on jokes, too. Usually I'll just, something kicks me off, like I'll hear a bit of conversation I overhear, or I'll read something in the newspaper. Sometimes I read other poems. I read the journal I like best is called American Poetry Review, and after it comes out every 2 months. And after I read that, I usually just start writing because I get inspired. So my inspiration comes from everywhere. Sometimes I don't write for a month or so, and other times I write 3 or 4 poems a week. I never use prompts, or I never force myself to do it, because after so many years of graduate school when I was writing about poetry, because I had to, I feel it's a real pleasure to write when I want to and not to push myself. I get in trouble for saying this, but I think it's better. I don't think people should write poetry. I don't think there are too many people writing, too many people publishing. It makes it hard to find some really good books, although there are a lot out there. There's something I call the creative writing industry, which is, the propaganda is everyone should write poetry and try to get published. I think a more helpful idea is everyone should read poetry, lots of it, and keep reading. Maybe at some point, if you've read enough, you'll feel inspired to write your own. But that's what I say. I got in trouble on social media for saying those things. I looked at that question and I thought, well, I'm not really interested in understanding a poem. I think, you read it once, read it more than once at least, and then take your time. But understanding it may not be the most important thing. Just letting it sink in is the way I do it. But more important, I think reading in the sense of reciting a poem is important. If you read it out loud, sometimes I get into arguments with people about the difference between poetry and prose. And for me, the difference is form. It's not about content. So when I read and when other people read, I should be able to envision the shape of the poem in my mind. And I hope when I read my poem that the listeners could intuit that. Shape is really, really important. Line breaks are important. Even if you're writing free verse, there's still poetic devices you can use that enhance the emotion of the poem. So I would say, I'm more interested in telling people or helping people read the poem and get it right, get the sound of it right, because that's really, really critical. Yeah, this is one of my favorite poems. It's by Ron Padgett, the poet who wrote the poems for a film called Patterson, which really nice film about William Carlos Williams. So this is one of his poems. Ladies and gentlemen in outer space, here is my philosophy. Everything changes. The word everything has just changed as the word change has. It now means no change, so quickly that it literally surpasses my belief, charges right past it, like some of the giant ideas in this area. I had no beginning, and I shall have no end. The beam of light stretches out before and behind, and I cook the vegetables for a few minutes only. The fewer the better. Butter and serve. Here is my philosophy. Butter and serve. I love this poem because it seems simple on the surface. It does what I try to do in my own poetry, or at least the poetry I like best that I write. It's very conversational. It seems simple on the surface, but it's also philosophical. And the more times you read it, the more you see it's pretty profound. And I love that ending. Just rooted in something as common as cooking vegetables. So I think this is a really good poem. My most recent book is called Birkenstock Blues. It was published in 2019 by Pressa Press, but I didn't like the way it looked, so I bought back the rights and reissued it myself and designed it. And so, if anyone's interested in looking at the book, you can go to my website, Jefferson Carter Verse, all one word, .com, and I'll get back to you.